Someone's been using my favorite camping spot to bury things and… Fuck, I don't even know how to explain this properly. My hands are still shaking typing this. So, I've been going to the same campsite for like 3 years now. It's way off the beaten path, 6 miles from the main trail. Nobody ever goes there. That's what I loved about it, you know? Just me and the silence. But this time? Jesus, this time was different. I got there Friday evening, and something felt wrong immediately. Like the fire pit I always use. Someone had filled it in with fresh dirt, and there were these tire tracks everywhere, heavy truck tracks, leading right up to where I normally pitch my tent. I'm standing there thinking, what the hell happened here? But I set up camp anyway because, I don't know, maybe I'm stupid. Maybe I was just tired from the drive. I kept telling myself it was probably Forest Service maintenance or something. That's what you do, right? You make up normal explanations for weird shit. That night, I couldn't sleep at all. There was this smell whenever the wind changed direction. Sweet and rotten, like when you find a dead animal that's been sitting in the heat for days. Made my stomach turn every time I caught a whiff of it. Morning came, and I followed my nose because I'm an idiot who can't leave things alone. Found the source about 20 yards from my tent. Someone had dug holes. Multiple holes. And the dirt was soft, recently disturbed. And that fucking smell was coming from underground. I'm standing there staring at these holes thinking, this isn't random. They were organized, evenly spaced, each one marked with these little metal stakes, like someone was keeping track of what they put where. And I knew. I didn't want to know, but I knew what was buried down there. You can't mistake that smell once you've smelled it. Death. Decomposition. Something that used to be alive. I should have left. Should have just packed my shit and gotten the hell out of there. But I needed proof, right? Can't call the cops and say, hey, I think there's dead stuff buried at my campsite. So I used a stick to poke around in one of the smaller holes. 2 feet down, I hit something. Something wrapped in heavy plastic bags, tied tight. And it was heavy, really heavy. That's when I heard the truck coming. Engine noise getting closer on the access road, moving slow and careful like they didn't want to be heard. My heart it started hammering in my chest. I grabbed my phone to take pictures, but of course, there's no fucking signal out there. Never is. The engine sounds were getting closer, and I'm thinking, shit, what do I do? I hid behind some trees and watched this dark pickup pull into my campsite. 2 guys got out wearing coveralls and work gloves. They walked straight to where I'd been digging, like they knew exactly where to go. One of them points at my tent and said something I couldn't hear. The other one nods and pulls out a folding shovel. They start examining the holes, checking those metal markers. Then the bigger guy finds the hole I'd disturbed. He calls his partner over, and they're both staring at the spot where I'd been poking around. That's when they started looking for whoever had been messing with their… whatever the hell this was. I'm crouched behind these trees, trying not to breathe, watching them search for me. They found my footprints pretty quick, followed them right back toward where I was hiding. I swear to God they were gonna find me. The bigger guy pulls out his phone and makes a call. I caught pieces of what he said. Someone's found the site. Need cleanup. Might have seen too much. I've never been so scared in my life. Like pure terror. The kind where your whole body goes cold and you can't think straight. They spent maybe 20 minutes going through my campsite, my gear, taking pictures of everything. Then they got back in their truck. But before they left, one of them walked over to where I was hiding and stuck something on a tree about 10 feet from me. After they drove away, I checked what they left. Piece of paper with my license plate number and a message, "Accidents happen to people who camp alone." I packed up so fast I probably left half my gear. Hiked out in record time. Didn't stop until I reached my truck. But I knew they already had everything they needed to find me. My plates, photos of my stuff. Probably even pictures of me. Driving home, I kept checking my mirrors, expecting to see that dark pickup following me. Every car looked suspicious. I was paranoid as hell, but also, they'd threatened me, right? That note wasn't subtle. When I got home, I tried calling the police, but God, how do you explain this? Officer, I think I found a body disposal site, and now the people running it are threatening me. Without evidence, without proof, it sounds crazy. The detective I talked to made some calls and basically told me it was probably just old camping trash. Could have been anything buried out there. Like I'm some hysterical camper who doesn't know what decomposing flesh smells like. 3 days later, someone went through my truck while I was at work. Nothing stolen, but everything searched. They'd photocopied my registration, moved my camping gear around. Message received. We know where you live, where you work, what you drive. I've been staying in hotels since then. Changed my routine, looking over my shoulder constantly. Because I know what I found wasn't camping trash. It was a disposal site, and the people running it know exactly who I am. The worst part is thinking about those metal markers. How many holes were there? How long have they been using that spot? And Jesus, how many other remote camping areas are they using for the same thing? I'm never camping alone again. Can't. Every time I think about it, I smell that sweet, rotten stench and remember those guys searching for me in the woods.
A guy pretending to be a park ranger tried to get me to follow him into the woods, and when I said no, he basically stalked my campsite for 2 days. I think other campers weren't as lucky as I was. This was last month in Olympic National Park. I'd picked a legal campsite, registered properly, did everything by the book. I'm not some off-the-grid type, you know? I like knowing there's actual rangers around if something goes wrong. Second day I'm there, this guy shows up at my site wearing a park service uniform. Clean uniform, official badge, radio on his belt, the whole setup. Says he's doing routine wildlife surveys and needs help documenting some animal situation. There's injured wildlife about half a mile up that trail, he tells me, pointing toward this path that leads away from the main camping area. Needs someone to help me photograph it for the incident report. And I'm thinking, when do park rangers ask random campers to help with official stuff? Never, right? Plus his uniform looked too new, too clean, like he just bought it. I told him I wasn't comfortable going off trail with someone I didn't know. And for just a second, his whole expression changed, like I'd pissed him off. Then he smiled again and said, "Of course, safety first, maybe later." After he left, I walked to the real ranger station to check his story. The ranger there had no idea what I was talking about. No wildlife surveys, no injured animals, no ranger matching that description working in the area. Someone's impersonating park service, the real ranger said. We've had reports of this. Did he try to get you to leave the main area? That's when it hit me how close I'd come to walking into whatever this guy had planned. The ranger filed a report, said they'd increase patrols, but warned me to be careful since this fake ranger now knew which campsite was mine. That night, around 11 p.m., I heard footsteps around my tent. Slow, deliberate, circling my campsite. I turned on my flashlight and called out, "Hello? Who's there?" The footsteps stopped, but I could feel someone standing right outside my tent. After a few minutes, they started walking away, but not far. I could still hear movement in the trees. This went on for hours. Every time I'd start falling asleep, those footsteps would come back. Someone was definitely watching, waiting for something. Maybe for me to fall asleep or come out of my tent. I barely slept. Kept my knife next to me, flashlight ready. Every sound made me jump. In the morning, there were boot prints everywhere around my site. Same tread pattern, multiple circles around my tent. This guy had spent the night studying my setup. I decided to pack up and leave. But while I was loading my truck, the fake ranger showed up again. This time he wasn't trying to be friendly.
You caused problems yesterday, talking to people you shouldn't have. I told him I was leaving, didn't want trouble. He stepped closer and I saw he had zip ties on his belt, along with what looked like a taser. You know what happened to the last camper who reported me? Sarah Martinez, 3 weeks ago. She was supposed to check out last Tuesday. I knew that name, Sarah Martinez. There had been search and rescue for her. They never found her. That's when I realized this wasn't just harassment. This guy was hunting people using a fake uniform to gain trust and lure them away from safe areas. I got in my truck, locked the doors, started the engine. He didn't try to stop me, just stood there with this calm expression, like he knew something I didn't. Driving out, I passed another campsite where a young woman was camping alone. The fake ranger was walking toward her, adjusting his uniform, putting on that same helpful smile he'd used on me. I stopped, honked my horn, yelled a warning. She looked confused, but the fake ranger immediately turned and disappeared into the woods. I drove straight to the ranger station and reported everything. They said they'd been tracking this imposter for months, suspected he was involved in missing camper cases. But here's what scares me. How many remote areas is this guy working? How many solo campers has he approached with that helpful routine? And how many followed him into the woods? I keep thinking about Sarah Martinez and all the missing hikers whose cases never get solved. Makes you wonder how many met someone in an official uniform who offered help. And now when I camp, I verify ranger identities at the station first, and I never follow anyone away from designated areas, no matter how official they look. But sometimes I wake up at night thinking about that woman at the other campsite. Did my warning save her? Or did he come back later when I wasn't around to honk my horn? My phone got hacked while camping, and someone tracked my exact location for 3 days. They recorded my conversations, knew where I was sleeping, even filmed me through my own camera. I think I was part of some kind of test. 2 weeks ago, I went camping in the Adirondacks. Picked a spot with 0 cell service because I wanted to disconnect completely. Work stress, needed a few days without emails and social media. First day was perfect, phone showed no bars, couldn't connect to anything. I felt that relief when you're truly off the grid. But day 2, my phone started acting weird. Battery draining super fast even with no signal, apps running that I hadn't opened. Camera app kept turning on by itself. I figured it was glitches from being remote, maybe the phone searching for signal was killing the battery. But then I noticed that GPS was still tracking somehow, even in airplane mode. That night, I heard something that made my blood freeze. My phone started playing back a recording of me talking to myself earlier while setting up camp. I'd been thinking out loud, just random stuff. And somehow, my phone had recorded everything. I checked my storage and found dozens of audio files I didn't create. Hours of recordings from the past 2 days, conversations, camp activities, even me sleeping, all time-stamped with precise coordinates. But the really fucked up part was finding video files I definitely didn't record. Footage of me from angles that meant someone else was filming me, someone with access to my phone's camera, watching me through my own device. I tried deleting everything, but the files kept coming back, like my phone was backing up to some server automatically and I couldn't stop it. That's when I noticed other campers in the area having similar problems. Solo campers like me, all using smartphones. When I watched carefully, their phones were acting weird too. One guy's phone kept taking photos while he wasn't looking. A woman's device was recording video while she thought it was off. We were all experiencing the same thing. I approached the guy and asked if his phone was strange. He looked relieved someone else noticed. It's been doing crazy stuff for 2 days, recording things, connecting to networks that don't exist. I thought it was broken. We compared notes and realized we were all experiencing identical problems. Our phones were being controlled remotely, turning us into surveillance subjects without our knowledge. That night, I wrapped my phone in foil and buried it in my backpack, but it was still transmitting. I could hear it receiving data even through the foil. Whatever was controlling our devices was using signals I'd never encountered. Next morning, 3 other campers had left early. Campsites abandoned, gear scattered like they'd fled in a hurry. I tried to leave too, but my car wouldn't start. Engine turned over fine, but the electronics were malfunctioning. Dashboard showing error messages I'd never seen. GPS displaying my location as hundreds of miles away. I realized this wasn't just about phones. Someone was field testing electronic surveillance and control systems using campers as test subjects. Got my car running by disconnecting the battery, resetting the systems, but driving home, I could tell I was still being tracked. Phone connecting to towers and patterns that suggested active monitoring. Took my phone to a repair shop when I got home. Technician found software he'd never seen before, programs giving remote access to every device function. He said, "This is military-grade surveillance software. Whoever installed this has complete control. They can see everything you see, hear everything you hear." Had the phone wiped and restored, but I still don't trust it. And I keep wondering about those campers who left early. Did they figure out what was happening, or were they taken somewhere for more testing? I've researched similar incidents online, reports from other remote camping areas of identical phone malfunctions, all in locations where surveillance could be tested without interference. Makes you realize how vulnerable we are carrying devices that can be controlled remotely. Even off the grid, someone might be using your technology to watch everything you do. Now when I camp, I leave my phone at home completely. Being disconnected isn't just about avoiding work emails anymore. It's about avoiding becoming someone's unwilling test subject.